Is Infertility Awareness Week. 1 in 6 couples struggle with getting pregnant. Experts say it is important to understand the risk factors when trying to build a family. Dr. Lucky Sekhon is a reproductive endocrinologist, infertility expert, and best-selling author of The Lucky Egg. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I don't think people realize how common infertility struggles really are and how much they affect people. It turns out 1 in 4 pregnancies do end in miscarriage. Why is it so important to talk about infertility and to reduce the stigma around the conversation? And what should you not be saying to people you know struggling with infertility?
I think it's so important that we keep talking about this because, as you said, it is more prevalent than most people realize. And a lot of times people just aren't sharing with their loved ones because they have a lot of self-blame and shame. And there's still a lot of stigma associated with this topic, even in 2026. And so I think it's important to keep that in mind as we ask people personal questions. A well-meaning friend or family member might think they're just making conversation or expressing interest in your personal life, but I think it can even be painful and not so sensitive to ask questions like, when are you going to have kids? Or do you have children? Are you trying right now? These can be really invasive, probing questions that can trigger people who are facing infertility and pregnancy loss.
Well, and as somebody who's been impacted this myself, I can't believe some of the things people do end up saying to you. And I think part of it is that there's this misconception that, if you just find the right doctor, or if you just freeze your eggs, or if you just take some simple steps, that everything's going to be easy breezy. And that's not the case for a lot of people.
There's a major misconception in terms of the level of control that we have over our fertility. Unlike so many different things in our lives, the amount of effort you put in doesn't necessarily equal the results that you get when it comes to our biology. And it's not fair, right? There are some people that are born with a predisposition to major gynecologic issues like endometriosis, PCOS, fibroids, and they're no less deserving than a person that doesn't face those issues when it comes to wanting to be able to build their family. And these can be significant hurdles. And so we just have to really look at people around us with a sensitive lens, knowing you never know what people are struggling with. This is something that they're not wearing a sign on their forehead and telling everyone in the world that they're dealing with infertility. And we just want to be really mindful of that.
I also think there's still, even in this day and age, there's still, when people hear about infertility, they immediately assume it's the woman in the relationship.
Yes.
And sometimes it can
Oh my
very
gosh.
well be the man. So can you talk
Yes,
a little bit about this?
50% of cases
Yeah.
have a male factor, and it shouldn't be a shocking fact. It takes both the egg and the sperm. This is why both partners should be part of an early evaluation from the get-go. A semen analysis is a very easy, cheap test, and it can identify at least 50% of the equation of why you may not be getting pregnant. And I will take it one step further and say it's not just about getting their partner pregnant, but also the health and the quality of the pregnancy and the health of the future child. We know that certain lifestyle behaviors, chronic medical conditions that go uncontrolled, if that's not addressed, it can actually impact a lot more than just fertility.
Well, you did write The Lucky Egg because of your own fertility struggles. Thank you for doing that and being vulnerable. We appreciate it. Can you talk about maybe some of the best ways to stay resilient in this process as it gets sometimes very, very hard to do?
Yeah, I think a lot of people start this journey and they feel like, listen, I'm a strong person. I can deal with things. I can handle it. I always say it's better to overestimate the mental health toll that this could take because you don't have a crystal ball. You don't know how long it might take to get there. And for many people, it's a marathon, not a sprint. There is this concept of dropping out of treatment prematurely, often due to psychological stressors and just getting burnt out. And so I think we need to do everything and have all the tools in our toolkit, including really arming the people around us with the necessary education to be able to support us. And I think this book is not only going to be helpful for people going through an infertility journey, but for those around them to better understand what they're going through so that the burden isn't on the patient who's already dealing with infertility to educate everyone around them.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I have really enjoyed a lot of your social media posts as well, so people should pick up the book and check you out on social. Thank you for being here.